A Spurs 11 drew with Getafe behind closed doors, and another 11 narrowly avoided humiliation at the hands of our under-21s. The big takeaway? No Maddison, no Udogie, no Solanke in either 11. Djed says Solanke is a complete striker who just needs confidence. No, he needs some ankles. The fans are getting restless. Now, sure, we've spent 250 million quid on some shiny new toys, but what about a winger and a forward? The ITKs are flinging random names at the wall, like Mikutadze, who came and vanished before anyone learned how to spell it or say it. Osimhen looks like a pipe dream, and the Savinho saga drags on like a Russian novel. In other news, Djed's agents are apparently offering him to Liverpool and United, and there was me thinking only the club to whom he's under contract could do that. Van de Ven got a bumper new contract despite being mostly shit last season, and our beloved captain returned to training today. Cuti supposedly would love to go to the Goons. A training video dropped last week showing Kudus and Kulusevski sprinting, though in Kudus' case, sprinting is a relative term. Maybe it was CGI. Either way, they won't be starting against Brentford either, will they? We'll have Room 101 for you, and I'll be throwing some fact or fiction questions at our guests. So strap in. It's Nice One Cyril.
Nice one, Cyril.
So welcome to Nice One, Cyril. I'm Simon Lipson, a man whose emotional stability is entirely dependent on a bunch of millionaires kicking a ball. Julie Welch is here. She's promised not to use industrial language today until we're at least 5 minutes in. Enfield royalty. Kev Acott is here. Enfield royalty might be an oxymoron, not sure. And Chris Askham, who can find the dark lining in every silver cloud. Welcome, one and all. Now then, why don't we start with you, Chris? You were supposed to be on at least 2 episodes and never quite made it due to technical difficulties down there in Cornwall. We drew with Getafe behind closed doors, but of course most of us watched bits, if not all of it. What was your take? Apart from the fact that it was rubbish, did anything catch your eye about that performance?
Truthfully, no. 70 minutes, all right. Behind closed doors, all right. Was there any real benefit for anyone apart from having a run around? I don't think so. More players were conspicuous by their absence. We're 10 days or so away from the first game of the season, and we've still got players made out of Weetabix. So, quite honestly, I can see no real benefit to that game. Nice not to lose eventually, but 70 minutes, I don't think it's one thing or another, if I'm honest.
No, it didn't tell us a great deal. We had, Julie, the great man himself, Gallagher, scored a late equaliser for us. It looks as though this number 10 position is going to be a weird one for us this season. No Xavi, I'll say no Maddison, but what are we going to get out of him? 10 games, 15 games this season? The other 10 looks like being Gallagher, which is an odd third 10 to have for a bloke who runs around a lot but doesn't have an awful lot of passing innovation in his boots.
Well, I'm getting quite fond of Gallagher because he seems to sort of come up with the business when it's necessary. Yeah, he's not a number 10, is he? It's needs must, as far as I'm concerned, particularly as we've got Brentford in 10 days, all hands to the pump and all that sort of stuff. What I will say about Gallagher is that he is one of the least remembered Spurs players I've ever come across. Every time I get to discuss Spurs players, I forget he's there. And I don't know why, because he's done what he's been asked to do. Obviously a nice bloke, nice hair, all that sort of stuff.
Good hair.
Why do I keep forgetting that he's there?
Kev, we were, I think, most of us disappointed with most of his performances last season. We were, I think, all quite keen to have him in the first place. He replaced poor old Brennan, who now whose career seems to be on the slippery slope off to Everton, is it now? God, that's a graveyard if ever there was one. But I don't know, Gallagher, is he growing on you at all?
Yeah, he is. I mean, I really enjoyed that goal. I thought that was really nicely taken. I don't watch a lot of non-Spurs football, really. And Gallagher was one of those when he was at Palace that really stood out for me and was memorable. So when we got him, and I've said this before, but when we got him, I was really pleased. He then not let us down, but he then didn't play particularly well until near the end when he did start playing well. I think he will be a starter in midfield, but he's not a number 10, you're right. And it worries me. I'm sure we're going to talk about this. It just worries me. We've slipped back into Spurs close season transfer nonsense again. I was really positive a week ago, and now I'm just not too sure. Do they have a plan? Are they chasing people? Are people suddenly going to be revealed before Brentford, or even before it's about a week or so after, isn't it? The actual close of the window. I don't know, and I've just sort of lost a bit of faith that we're going to get that number 10 and that striker, really, and winger.
I was going to just suggest that perhaps the reason we're not looking at a 10 is because we've got a couple of them, Maddison, Gallagher, who's the fella? Odebear. Even Odebear's played at 10. Kudus played at 10 last season. Chris, do you think that perhaps the club is holding off a bit on a 10 because there are some 10s secreted away being tended to in the hospital and other places of medical treatment? That's a possibility. But what about a left winger? What about a centre forward? More importantly, we cannot start the season with fucking Richie, can we?
Probably. Unfortunately, yes. A left winger, Savinho. Does he actually exist, or is he just a figment of somebody's imagination? This has been going on since about May, and we're now in the middle of August, just about, and no sign of him. We've had more names thrown at Spurs than just about anyone. We appear to be interested in anyone who plays in a wing position and it happens to be warm. The rest of it is just, okay, it's all the in the nose and what have you, but they don't know anything. In the meantime, do we need a 10? I think that really depends on RDZ. Is he going to play for a 10? Is he going to need a 10 as we talk about it and as we understand it? I'm not sure that we haven't got players who can actually fulfill that particular role. And maybe, just maybe, he's holding fire on that, and it's the only people getting really upset or concerned about it are people like us. We've still got other players to shift on. I mean, Flappy's still here, isn't he?
Flappy's still here.
Yeah, Romero, well, he might be looking for a taxi fare to the Goons. But we've got problems in the forward line, as you say. We've got two forwards who, again, appear to be made out of Weetabix. The whole impetus and the whole effort on the early signings appears to have dissipated. And I don't honestly know where we would go from here.
I can't believe that we aren't looking, and we're not looking hard, because, as you said, Chris, we're less than 2 weeks away from the start of the season. I mean, Julie, this Savinho saga it's the first year anniversary of this utter fucking nonsense. Supposedly it's very close, and then it's not close, and then they want more, and then we're not offering more, and then we're offering more, and then they're putting the price up. All of this just sounds like no one knows anything. Meanwhile, he played in 2 friendlies for City, played quite well in one of them. Then there's talk about Neto being the key to all this. Neto, who I just think is fast and shit, but he might replace Savinho at City, and then we get Savinho, or we might take Neto instead. It's an absolute mess, isn't it? And it begs the question, and I'm getting to it, Julie, why we're letting Mikey Moore go to Köln. Is he not a left winger?
I don't think that RDZ is very impressed with Mikey Moore. I hate to say it. I think that he may have reached the plateau at Rangers, in RDZ's opinion. RDZ is definitely not excited by Mikey Moore, I'd say. Meanwhile, the Savinho saga is just like, watching asparagus grow. I mean, it's never going to happen. And I just don't know why it's gone on so long when everybody knows it's never going to happen. I don't want him anyway. So what concerns me most is, well, you know how much I love Richarlison. I mean, we've been through all that already.
Yeah.
But I don't think he can lead the line all on his own. God knows when Solanke is going to be able to play. So at the moment, it's Richie and Dane Scarlett, which is a terrifying thought with 10 days to go. I got really excited last week because I thought we might get Osimhen, who is a wonderful player. There was this guy, Yildiz, who I think everybody got excited about, but it looks like he's going to, shall we say, the other team, which used to live in South London. The situation seems absolutely hopeless to me. It's like, when you're a kid, you always get taken in by Christmas, don't you? You always think you're going to get the bike you want or the pony you want, in my case. And instead, you just get bath cubes or something like that. It's like that now. It's like, a disappointing Christmas as far as I'm concerned. I just don't know what is going to happen if we don't have a striker within the next few weeks.
We're 14 minutes and you haven't said fuck yet. So that's troubling me a little bit, to be honest. Kev, I will just say this. You've been frozen on my screen for the last 7 or 8 minutes. I hope you can still hear me. Are you with us, Kev?
I am with you.
You are? Okay,
I am.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah. You are. Cool. Good.
I can give you a running commentary if you like. He's nodding and moving.
He's alive.
He's alive.
That's my role,
really what we've
basically. Yeah.
That's excellent stuff. Let's have a little chat about Maddison. We talked about a 10. Now, Kev, can I tell you this? When I was, in my prime, I was quite the five-a-side footballer. Let me tell you, in a very, very low quality game, I scored a few goals. And one day I took a shot, my standing leg collapsed under me, and I tore the cartilage in half. And those were the days when, of course, you'd be in hospital for a week and on crutches for 3 weeks and what have you. Can I tell you what, Kev? I was never the same again. I was never that dynamic, two-footed genius goal scorer, stroke goal hanger ever again. It never happened. And what actually happened was I ended up getting injuries in my right knee, my other knee, and then I got injuries in my hips and I got injuries everywhere else. And the truth of the matter is, and of course you're a medical expert, my body was subconsciously protecting the bad knee, right? And loading up on other bits of the body. And I just wonder, when you've had an injury as serious as Maddison's, and you've actually had 2 knee injuries, one after t'other, you can't ever be the same again. Is this hip injury, do you think that is a consequence of his body doing other things to compensate for issues elsewhere?
I think it might well be. I just have this sort of horrible feeling about the overall injury situation, not just him. It just feels like we're slipping back into what was happening last season. And, and I think part of the positivity that we have been feeling and part of the optimism has been that we were moving out of it. We didn't expect Kulu to come back, but it looks like maybe he is. It felt like towards the end of last season, Maddison was starting to make his way back. I cannot believe, and I still don't believe that we don't have a really competent medical team, because I think we do. I think there's just a lot of bad luck. But whether we'll ever see Maddison at his best again, whether anyone will, I don't know. It's hard to believe that. And even more so with Kulu, I think I can't see that he's going to be ever as good as he was. Kudus feels like we sort of know less about what's been going on with him. I don't know. So those are 3 players that are, the 3 of them will make a difference potentially to any match, whoever we're playing. And not having them is such a problem, I think. But surely the board know that. Langer knows that. We need to assume none of those 3 are going to are going to be fit and up and running for the first couple of months at least, and we need to bring people in. And it's easy. Obviously, it's easy to say. It's a difficult market, but we have to.
Julie would tell you that Dave Mackay and Stevie Perryman, they play through, knocks and injuries. Dave Mackay would play with a broken leg, wouldn't he? I just wonder, Chris, whether some of today's modern footballers are a little bit more inclined to say, you know what, I'm not feeling great today. I don't think I'll turn out. I mean, allegedly, Solanke missed a London derby with a sore throat last season. Do you think that is a modern footballer issue, or do you think those are just some players have a lower threshold than others?
I don't think there's the desire in a lot of cases. Everybody wants to be part of a successful team, but the thing about a team is you need everyone to pull together in the right direction at the same time. I think these days 250, 300 grand a week is easy money. And I use the term easy relatively. I'd like to think that no professional footballer would cry off just because they had a sore throat. The issue, I think, is also in the reporting. One person's sore throat is another person's acute laryngitis. So, I don't know. I do think it's a little bit easy for people on the outside, me included, to say, just, get up, cold sponge, get on with it, run it off. These days, there are wonderful medical departments who look after players' welfare and look after their condition because they see that as protecting their asset. Hopefully one day we'll get something like that. But we haven't had one of those for a decade or more. We've always pushed out players when they're really not able to or not prepared to, or however it comes across. And what worries me a little bit is, I know you've said before we have a professional medical department. Well, as I say, I'd like to see it. But how long would it be before any new signings are treated by our medical department? Then we'll see how effective or otherwise either the department or the signings are.
Maddison, it will be lucky to get 20 games. I think the same applies to Udogie, probably Solanke. And it begs the question about Djed Spence, who was staggeringly good at the World Cup. We know he's a good player. We know he can play. And you have to wonder why, allegedly, his agents are offering him to Manchester United and Liverpool. I don't know quite how they're entitled to do that because he's contracted to Spurs. But I suppose, arguably, they're putting the feelers out to see if there is any interest in him elsewhere. Why, in God's name, would we sell Djed Spence when Udogie is clearly not going to be playing a full season? Andy Robertson is nearly 33, might even be 33, and showed even in those friendly games that he's probably not elite anymore.
Just on the subject of Andy Robertson for a while, I'm not quite sure why we got him, actually, because if you want the granddad figure, we've already got Ben Davies, who has come back fighting and is fully Spurs, which Andy Robertson isn't and never will be, really. I mean, lovely bloke, but he's Liverpool, isn't he? So, as I say, I think that might have been a pointless signing. As for Udogie, I mean, Udogie is a fantastic player when he's actually fit, which he never is. And I cannot see, unless there's something political going on, why Spence is allegedly being offered to other big clubs. I mean, obviously, there's a lot we don't know, isn't there? I mean,
and also the price being quoted for him seems to be absurd. 35 million just makes no sense to me at all.
For one of the standout players in the England team, World Cup semi-finalist, did brilliant stuff, very versatile, I think, as well. I just don't know what's going on. I mean, that's the trouble. I'll say again, we know nothing. We do.
No, indeed. That's the truth of it. Kev, we got very excited, didn't we, you and I, on our WhatsApp group about the possible acquisition of Georges Mikotadze, just as soon as we checked his YouTube video. And that then seemed to disappear as fast as it appeared. Did you take a look at it? What he might contribute, because he seems like a goal scorer, stroke left winger. And would he be a better bet than Gakpo, who allegedly is top of RDZ's list?
I do think there's a lot of negativity about Gakpo. I suspect he's the most likely one that's been named, that the most likely that we're going to get. I don't think he's as bad as people are making out. He wouldn't excite me either, but I don't think it would be a terrible signing. If we're left with him as a striker, that's all right. Still, obviously, it's still not enough. But I'd be okay with him. I'm with Julie. I think actually this entire podcast could just be us all going, don't know. We just don't know.
Well, we don't know. This is very well summed up. Chris, Gakpo he scores quite a lot of goals for Holland. I'm guessing because he doesn't play wide left. I don't see him as being quick or clever enough to be a left winger. I don't really see him as being kind of specialised enough to be a centre forward. I can't work out what the interest is about. I mean, like Kev, I think he's a decent player. Of course he is, international footballer. But is he the guy we need?
Who knows? I
don't know.
Like you, I don't see him as the one. If he's that good, why is he being allowed to leave? Assuming he is being allowed to leave. And I would say that really of anyone that we actually sign, if they're that good, with the exception of the people from, say, West Ham when they went down to what I still call the second division, and say it again, second division, that they're being allowed to leave for a reason, whether it's money in the bank or whether it's because they can't satisfy their personal requirements at the team that they're at, or they just don't see any progress, and yet they come to us. So RDZ has probably got a hell of a way with him speaking to potential signings. I just hope he remembers what he's told them all, because I'm not sure that just buying anything that's warm is our best strategy. We kicked off really well with targeted signings and we made them. Cost a lot of money, but we made them. And now it all just appears to have drifted away, as Kev said earlier. We're sort of falling back into what was, and we were desperately trying to get out of that. So again, I'm a don't know.
Julie, let's have a little chat about your friend Cuti. Now, the ITK weight of opinion, I guess, is that he's going to go to Atletico because he likes Simeone and he's always wanted to go there. Inter Milan supposedly are interested but haven't got any money. Then we were entertained, I think, by the idea that he'd be quite happy to go to the Gunners. Now, I smell bullshit on this straight away. It's been reported and regurgitated and recycled endlessly this week, and it's created an atmosphere of enmity and hatred towards him. And I wonder if this is confected in order to make him an absolute pariah at Spurs, one way or the other. The fans don't want him, and this way he somehow manufactures a move to one of those clubs, Atletico or Inter, at a cut price, because Spurs will think, let's just get the fuck rid of him. He is toxic. Is that a possible interpretation?
No. I think this is
right. Moving on. Next.
This is your twisted mind, Simon. Whereas I've just got this terrible feeling he's going to stay, and he's not going to play in defence. He's going to be stuck in midfield. He's going to be our new number 10, I tell you.
Well, if that happens, Gary of Harlow is going to be most put out. Let's have a look at some of these outgoings, Kev. Phillips to Middlesbrough. Apparently it was a done deal for getting on for 20 mil once you these mysterious add-ons bring it up to 20 mil. Also leaving Kev is wonder kid Yang Min-hook, who's going to Westerlo. I think that's Belgium. Well, I could be wrong. He hasn't exactly set the world alight. But anyway, all that lot are going. There's probably a few others going as well. I just wonder whether this is making room or whether this is just clearing out deadwood with a view to, making sure that the new higher wages are payable to the people who are here.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect it's a clearing out of deadwood that's also convenient, financially and reducing just the numbers. What I was just sitting here thinking, who would actually really upset me if they left now? And Romero's not one of them. Those four that you just mentioned, no, it's fine. I think they were never going to make it with us, at least.
I did mention Mikey Moore there, Kev, with respect.
Yeah, I feel bad.
I hear where you're going with this.
Yeah, I feel bad because of the emotional distress it would cause you, Simon, Mikey, to go.
Yep.
I don't necessarily think it would be a terrible thing for him or for us if he goes. I mean, it's impossible to tell, isn't it? He hasn't been tried out properly in the Premier League, but if we can get a good price for him, or he can have another good season on loan, then great.
Well, he's still only 18, doesn't turn 19 for a few days, so he's still a baby. Still be a baby when he comes back to us. I've got a few quotes from the great RDZ. I'm going to throw these at you individually. So this is for Chris. He said, "I believe that the big clubs no longer fear selling their players. Even Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich, when the time comes to sell, they do sell. If the price is right, you shouldn't hesitate." Which suggests that we might sell our big name players like, maybe Richarlison or other greats, but also that it doesn't stop us approaching, I don't know, clubs for, I'm not sure where Rodrigo and who's the other one? Rafinha, are they at Barcelona and Madrid? It means that we could go in for them, or at least he's suggesting we're going to have the audacity and the funds to do it.
I think we possibly have got the audacity, and I'm pretty sure we've got the funds. It's more a question of once the other lot have stopped laughing, or the players involved has had a wry smile and told their agent, "No, I'm terribly sorry." But it shouldn't stop us. It never should have ever stopped us. For God's sake, we used to be signing the first sort of £100,000 plus players. The story about Greavesy, 99,999, because they didn't want him to have the impact of being the first £100,000 player. We've never shied away from paying money in the past. However, in the past, looking back at quite a long way, when we've shelled out that sort of money, we've got something pretty damn good in return. Over recent years, decades maybe, we've spent an awful lot of money, just we haven't spent it well. So if, and it is a big if RDZ is keeping our particular powder dry because he's got somebody in mind, or 2 or 3 players in mind, then I'm happy for that, providing we do it rather than just suggest that we're going to do it and then sort of creep back into our shell.
Yeah, well, we've got a couple of weeks left to see whether that plays itself out and we get a bomber. Here's another one for you, Julie. RDZ said, with JP, by which he means Van Hecke, after the Everton game, I sent the message, fuck off. You wanted to send Tottenham down for Brighton when you made the assist to Jorginho Rutter. Now you have to come to me. Yes or yes, you have no choice. There's a hint of tapping up about that.
I don't quite know what to make of that. I mean, I just looked at it and I thought, yeah, you just want to say something to the press, and they'll pick it up and then they'll stop asking you about something that you don't want to talk about. Is there a hint of tapping up? I mean, everybody taps everybody up. We all know that. It's been going on for decades. It's just got more and more blatant. I mean, how do you think we got to know Tonali? I mean, nice phone call between 2 Italians and, reminiscing together about their lovely time they had in wherever it was. The name of the venue escapes me at the moment. The trouble is, whenever I read these kind of long interviews, I just know that they are not really going to say anything important because they're so controlled and everything like that, which is why I love Ange's media dabbling, because he just didn't play that game at all. But I think RDZ, as I said, will never say anything which he doesn't not mean to say, for instance. Yeah. I mean, come up with another quote. I thought that one was just sort of boring, Simon, really.
Oh, all right then. Okay. You know, at work, I slog my guts out to bring you this stuff and
God,
to
I'm
ask
so
the
sorry.
best possible questions, and I'm just being dissed in an instant with your cruel words. Moving on.
It's because I'm an old hack, you see.
You are an old hack, amongst other things. Now, Kev, here's a good one. Julie has suggested, notwithstanding that she was bored out of her brains even bothering to answer that question, that RDZ never says anything he doesn't mean or without some kind of intention behind it. So let me ask you what he means here. He was talking about Dom Solanke. He says, I like him as a player. I like him as a guy. There are not many better strikers than Dom Solanke in the Premier League. I think he changes the quality of performance depending on the confidence he feels, blah, 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 blah. I want to keep him because I like him as a player. He's a complete striker. He can attack the space. He can cover the ball, etc., etc. And he says he thinks he can score 15 to 20 goals in the Premier League. Now, if he hadn't said Dom Solanke, I say, who's he talking about who plays for us? But again, I wonder if there's something going on behind this comment. Does it mean we're just not going to get another striker and therefore put your faith in Dom? Or does it mean we're going to sell him quite soon for more money than he's worth?
That quote sounded to me like it's an encouragement of Solanke. It's sort of saying, look, you can be better than you have been. I do believe in you. I want you to stay. You can do well. I mean, we paid, was it 60 million for him originally? That's a lot of money. He hasn't really proven that, a good spend really, but he has had the injury problems. I mean, I'm not convinced he's a 60 million player. I think maybe Zerbi was just being nice and boosting him and being supportive. And I'm not sure there was anything else behind that. I just don't want, like I think we've said already, you do not want him and Richarlison as our strike force, because there's not much striking or forcing, is there? So,
well, exactly. I've got the stats. Last week I gave the stats on Richie was something like 133 games, 32 goals. Whoever's phone that is, could you fucking turn it off? And Solanke, this is so unprofessional. Is it you, Welch?
Yeah.
It's you, isn't it? It's you, Welch. Stop it. Stop it. Pack it in.
I'm keeping up with the latest news in case we've done something exciting, like
there is no latest news. Yeah. Okay. Well, look, and
I want you to be the first to know, Simon.
Thank you. Bless you for that. So Solanke's stats are 76 games and 22 goals. So marginally better, Chris, than Richie, but it's a pretty pathetic return, as Kev says, for 60 odd million quid. I don't know. I quite like him as a footballer, but not as a striker, really.
Yeah, it's difficult. I do like him as a footballer. Is he a striker? I don't think so. I think a lot of that is also down to, or the lack of goals is also down to us making the right opportunities and enough of them. I do think that given the opportunities, he should score. He will, fingers crossed, score more goals than he has done. I say fingers crossed because I firmly believe we're going to have Richarlison and Solanke as our main strike force come the 22nd of August. And I think we just have to bite that particular bullet and get on with it.
Yeah, I think you may be right. Julie hasn't, for all her poor behaviour, hasn't actually come up with a tweet that tells us we've just bought Victor Osimhen. So, but we did have a tweet, I might have an Instagram post, sent to us by Lee Brown of This Parish, saying, it was actually put on by Maddison with a picture of him and a lovely little boy, or I presume I hope it's his own boy. And he says he's feeling good and working hard to be healthy and have a great year. And he says he definitely hasn't had any recurrence of any injury he's had before. Your ITK isn't ITK. Come on, you Spurs. So, all right, your phone is still dinging, Julie.
I'm sorry.
Could you just chuck it somewhere? Put it in the curtains. Wrap it in the curtains and be done with it. All right.
God,
I tell you what,
I put it on silent.
Thanks. 45 minutes
because I'm
into the show.
all heart. So
let me read some stupid tweets for you. Here's one. I like this one because it's a conspiracy theory upon conspiracy theory. Isn't Endrick's agent Thiago Freitas, whose parent agent company globally is Rock Nation Sports, which is owned by Jay-Z, who's playing 2 dates in September at the THFC Stadium? So there we are. The link is made between Endrick and Spurs. He must be coming to us. Here's someone. The thing is, Spurs fans are never satisfied. So we did spend 237 million quid and bring in 6 new players. But here's this bloke says, "Hey Spurs, are you a social experiment gone wrong? Are you the biggest con job in football? You're treating the THFC fans with utter contempt. Does Roberto De Zerbi know what he's doing? 2 weeks until the Premier League kickoff. Sort out this shambles now." So, yeah, well, there we are. That's quite the reprimand. I quite like this one. THFC are believed to be busy in the next couple of days for the likes of signing forwards. For the likes of signing forwards. I don't know. And this one's good. Spurs are in for Atletico's Alvarez. No, they're not. They want 150 million for him. To make the deal possible, they want Romero offers and Bentancur. Romero will be 45 mil and Bentancur 25 mil, meaning it would only cost Spurs 80 mil. Well, strictly, no, it's going to cost us 150 mil. I think your maths might be out there. These players we're selling have got a value. This is one. Someone said of Yildiz that he has zone dominance. Kev, this is up your street, isn't it? What is zone dominance?
Well, Simon. I mean, I don't know if you've got sort of 15 minutes because I do need to explain this properly.
Go for it.
If you can imagine that there are areas, let's call them zones, in which particular players dominate. They have zone dominance then.
Got it.
Yeah. So
got it. Thank you for clarifying that and making sense of it all. And here's the last one. A deal is ready to complete, but West Ham are in mixed minds, and seem to be airing on avoiding. Airing, AIRING. Not got a fucking clue. What is the matter with people? Now, we're going to get into room 101. I had a lovely message from one of our listeners, John Steggles, who said, I've got one for room 101 for you. He says, when commentators and pundits use the phrase, your Kanes, your Sons, your Tonales, he says, they're individuals for fuck's sake, not plurals. It's lazy and utterly crap use of the English language. Julie, I hesitate to come to you because you've misbehaved badly. But it's not. This is not good, is it? This your Tonales. This is your Julie Welch's who's got to answer this for us.
I hesitate to say anything about commentators because I once or twice had a crack at doing commentary myself and I was completely shit at it. And I probably would have said things like your Tonales.
Was that because your phone kept going off or distracting you? Or
sorry, are you speaking to me?
I am, yes. All right, let's move on. Don't know what's going on today. Julie is... There will be words after the recording, obviously, today. What's your room 101, Chris?
Commentators, actually. And the term 1v1 or 2v2 or 2v1, I'm sorry, it's either 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 or whatever. It's not V. I don't know where this has come from. Again, it's lazy. It's just smacks of incompetence, basically. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. There you go. That's it.
Got it. All right. Kev, what have you got for us this week?
Well, we've sort of already dealt with my first one, which was broadly Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. The fact that a week ago I felt more positive about Spurs and about being a fan and being part of this wonderful club than I have done for years. And now, a week later, a bit of a crappy performance, a couple of possible injuries, and we haven't got a striker or a number 10. I'm feeling incredibly pessimistic. And they're doing it deliberately. I think they're doing it, other people are obviously affected, but they're particularly doing it to me.
Yeah.
So I would like Tottenham Hotspur Football Club really in 101. But also, this is not football related, Excel spreadsheets. I can't understand them. I can't use them. They just annoy me. And the type of people I don't like working with at universities, in the NHS, whatever, love Excel spreadsheets. Some people love them and understand them, and I don't understand them, and I hate them. So, yes.
Okay. Excel spreadsheets are now in Room 101. Julie, what have you got?
Well, I was going to go for Dom Solanke's ankle, but I decided that was a bit mean. So instead, I'm going to go for the kind of wanker who makes you turn your phone off because they're so bloody important.
Well, I can't think of anyone who would do that, but there are certainly a lot of wankers who leave their phones on when they're recording podcasts. But, hey, now I've got, I was going to go for this week for Savinho just because a year of enough already, just fuck off into Room 101. I don't care. But actually, I'm not football related. I was in a coffee shop that shall not be named on this podcast for fear of offending Kev. But I was in Gales and I got myself my usual, right? I got a pot of tea and a sultana scone. And I opened up the sultana scone and it was wet. It was soggy inside. Kev, it was soggy inside. And I mean, you could use that mixture to fill holes in the walls, right? That's how bad it was. And I mean, how difficult is this? You receive these things in a bag from a central kitchen somewhere. How difficult is it to put them in the oven at the right temperature for the right length of time? It's not difficult. On the upside, they gave me my money back and I kept the scone, which I did eat. So there we are. It all ended very well. Now, I tell you what we ought to be doing right now is a bit of fact or fiction. So let me throw these at you. Let's start with you, Chris. Spurs once played an official European match wearing a set of borrowed yellow shirts. Fact or fiction?
I'm going for fiction.
Okay. What do you base that on? Just you didn't like the sound of it?
It's a 50-50 choice, so...
Okay. Well, at least you put your mind to it.
Absolutely.
Well, in fact, you're wrong. It's a fact because in the 1971 UEFA Cup, Spurs went to play Icelandic side Kraka or something, and due to a kit colour clash, Spurs had to wear a local Icelandic team's bright yellow shirts, complete with an unfamiliar crest. And of course, Kev, what was the score?
I think it was 9-0 at home and 6-1 away.
You're so close. It was 4-0 away, and I couldn't tell you what the score was at home.
But there were
let me throw this one. There were goals, so strictly speaking, you're spot on. Let me ask you this one, Kev. Dimitar Berbatov's penalty in their 2008 League Cup final was the first penalty Spurs had scored at Wembley Stadium. Fact or fiction?
I'm going facts on that one. Yeah.
You're going fact? Okay.
Yep.
Chris, you're shaking your head. What do you think?
Which Wembley Stadium?
Oh, no, it's not that clever. Let's just say Wembley Stadium and leave it at that.
I would say that was fiction.
Well, it is fiction. Glenn Hoddle, how could we forget his penalty against QPR in the 82 FA Cup final replay? I feel like there were more penalties than that, but, Google be Google, innit? So who knows? Right. Here's one for you, Julie. Tottenham were the first English club to install an automated undersoil heating system at their ground. Fact or fiction?
I'm sure that's fiction because
Everything's forgiven if you get this right.
I don't know. And I actually don't really care.
Okay. Well, of course, Everton beat us to it because they put undersoil heating in at Goodison Park in 1958. As we all know, we didn't install ours till 1969.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one for you all. Gareth Bale's famous hat-trick against Inter Milan in 2010 was the first time a Spurs player scored a European hat-trick away from home. Fact or fiction? Anyone? Very, very stumbling faces here.
Thunderous response there.
I'm going for fiction.
Good. Why are you going for fiction?
Well,
You're right. You're correct.
Because I'm desperately trying to think who else scored one, but I'm convinced we'd scored one before, possibly two.
You're right. And furthermore, I'm going to give you full marks for two because Alan Gilzean scored a hat-trick away to Rangers, 67, Cup Winners' Cup. And Bobby Smith got one,
Yes.
Of course, Kev, didn't he, in 1961 against Gornik Zabrze. What was the final score there, Kev? Do you remember?
Yeah, that was 4-1, son.
Good. I will say yes because I don't know the answer. Here's the last one for you. Spurs once missed out on signing Luka Modric's international teammate Ivan Rakitic because the Premier League transfer window closed 15 minutes early due to a fax machine error. What do you think? Fact or fiction? Julie, come on. This is up your alley.
I think that's fiction.
Kev?
I don't know why.
What do you think, Kev?
I think it's true because it rings a bell. That the fax machine story does ring a bell.
I don't know what bell it's ringing because it's fiction. It didn't happen. All right, well, there we are. So they were quite fun, weren't they? Julie's still misbehaving, but, there's nothing we can do now. She's off the leash.
I'm just sitting here quietly.
You're off the leash today, and it's not great. Anyway, look, before we go, we have got the small matter of two absolutely crucial friendlies this weekend on Saturday and Sunday against TSG, who I have now established Hoffenheim. Thoughts on that, Chris? Do you think that is worth tuning into Spurs play, or you're not going to bother?
Possibly unlikely. I may tune into Spurs play, but I can't imagine I'm going to drop everything else for it. Is it another 70-minute job?
I couldn't tell you. No, I don't know.
If it's a 70-minute job, definitely not. If it's not, then I may go for one out of the two. That's it.
Okay.
I'm not that bothered.
Predictions. I tell you what, Julie, you can give me a prediction on an aggregate score for over the two games. Let's call them two legs.
Okay, 5-2 to Spurs.
Yeah, I like it. Very positive. Richie hat-trick.
I think, no, another goal. I think Gallagher gets on the score sheet again.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Richie Hattie, why not? With a bicycle kick included.
Love it. And Kev, thoughts on these two key matches?
What was the other one, Simon? You said Hoffenheim and someone or other.
They're both Hoffenheim.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right. So there's one on Saturday, one on Sunday. All right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hoffenheim.
I mean, given they had a tricky season last season, Hoffenheim, as I think most of us know. They haven't had great preparation, a couple of injuries, so I'm going 7-5 on aggregate.
I like it,
us.
And you see, this is where your intimate knowledge of European football comes into play, and I think it's just we're lucky to have you on this podcast. Others would disagree. Look, I tell you what, I'm sorry to our beloved listeners because it's all gone off the rails a bit today, but I hope you've enjoyed it. Now you can give us a follow on Twitter at NiceOneCyrilPod. We have a website, www.niceonecyrilpodcast.co.uk. All the episodes are on there, plus pictures and info and all kinds of gubbins. And why not subscribe or give us a follow to the podcast on the platform of your choosing. Our listener numbers are shooting up and we're very grateful and we appreciate everyone listening in. My thanks then to Kev and to Chris, not really to Julie, But, she's giving me a V sign now. I mean, it really is puerile. I honestly, Julie, not good enough. You're supposed to be one of the country's premier journalists, and this is poor. But anyway, never mind. We'll be back next week. Julie might not be, but the podcast will be. Why not join us then? And until then, come on, you Spurs.
Nice one, Cyril.